Why is a drummer on stage? He wants to hang out with real musicians. Although there are many jokes about drummers, which are all true by the way, in this series I will show you why great drum arrangements are in fact very important for your songs, and how to create them following a few basic rules. We will start with a simple groove and then talk about fill-ins, why they are important to structure your songs, and of course, how to create them in HookPad. This tutorial is for all musicians, but drummers can learn something too. One easy way for non-drummers to play drums is a MIDI setup on a computer. I myself will use my native instruments machine with Superior Drummer 2. If you want to practice your finger drumming a bit, you might pause the video and create your own setup. All you need is a MIDI controller and some drum sampler, which you can usually find in every DAW, like GarageBand. Alright, let's first talk a bit about standard grooves. The most basic thing which creates a groove is a sequence of higher and lower notes. You can do this on a piano or even on your body. On a drum set, we use the kick drum for the low notes and the snare drum for the high ones. In a standard pop groove, the snare is usually played on count 2 and 4, while the kick can also play a variety of patterns. Although this would already be enough to define a drum rhythm, a drummer usually adds another small repetitive pattern which gives the beat more consistency and drive. The easiest of those patterns is a sequence of regular eighth notes on the hi-hat. If you repeat this groove over and over, you can already accompany a whole pop song. But of course, we can do far better than that. Did you just hear the part where the strings came in and the new song part began? Perhaps you didn't even notice the beginning of the new part, as I just kept on playing my standard groove and didn't react to the music. The easiest way to tell the listener that something important is going on, like the start of a new song part, is to hit the crash cymbal on beat 1 instead of the hi-hat. The crash cymbal is much louder and longer than the hi-hat, which makes it a good choice to focus the listener's attention onto an important event. Let's check it out. I think that's already much better now, but there is still room for improvement. As a crash cymbal works well to accentuate an important event, you might want to give your listeners a heads up before it happens. I just played a very subtle variation at the end of part 1, which already made the transition to part 2 more predictable and smoother. These variations are called fill-in and can be played in many different ways. A fill-in can be really simple, or rather complex, with lots of toms. The length and complexity of the fill-ins usually depend on the drummer's style, but in general you can say that for big events like the start of a new song part, you use bigger fills, and for smaller events like the beginning of the repetition of the same song part, you use smaller fills, or none at all. Sometimes a single crash cymbal on the first beat will do just fine too. I for myself prefer to play rather short fills, as for my taste, long fills often take away too much from the groove. After all, the groove is what grooves and gives the music its drive. Now let's briefly repeat all those rules we have discussed so far. A standard pop groove consists of a sequence of high and low notes, played on the snare and the kick. This groove is extended with a repetitive pattern played on the hi-hat. And the snare is usually played on count 2 and 4. We use a crash cymbal to mark the beginning of a part, and a short fill-in to make a transition to another part smoother. To demonstrate how these rules work with real music, I will play a short song. I try to arrange the drums as simple as possible, but at the same time I focus on accentuating each important event of the music. Now that you have a better understanding of how drum arrangements work, in the next video I will show you an easy way to arrange your drums in HookPad. Please leave a comment and tell us your favorite drummer, and hit that subscribe button. I'm Dennis, and I will see you soon.